episode 58 of Fist of the North Star, 1 point. The keyword for this episode is going to be Master. I was waiting for this episode in which we finally get the most explicit, conclusive mention of the 6 Nanto stars. I was waiting for it. I was trying not to say it, but I think I may have said it in the previous videos, but so you get the whole background of the Hokuto worlds, let's say, right? So the Nanto is those 6 stars and they protect the Emperor, and the Hokuto is that hidden martial art. When Nanto is in disarray, Hokuto comes out. If I was waiting for this episode because since the beginning of the anime, there's something that I wanted to say, actually, a very interesting thing that I wanted to say, and that's why the keyword is Master. If you're attentive, at this point, you should think something. And that's the reason there's this kind of, you may feel some sort of delay, let's say, between part 1 and the rest of the anime. It's like, okay, the Nanto is as such. There's many schools, 108, but then those are the 6 big ones, yeah? And the Hokuto is something else. I remember Shin learned martial arts with Kenshiro, and more precisely, actually, they say that they have the same master. Now, you may think, that was another master. I don't think so, like the same master they're talking about is definitely Ryuken. So Ryuken was Shin's master? So, the first time I thought about this, I realized this, it struck me as a contradiction. As in, it doesn't make sense, And then I thought, why wouldn't it make sense? That's the thing, like, I think there are many paradoxes in Fist of the North Star. And that's better than something, because paradox, it's like it seems to be a contradiction, but it's not, and there is an explanation to it, and it's better than if it weren't a paradox. So, like, everything is crystal clear. Nothing seems contradictory. It's better because the solution tells you a lot. And so I thought, how does that make sense? How does a, and listen to the phrasing, how does a Hokuto master, well, first practices, I guess, the Nanto Seiken and then teaches it? And this is when I want to tell you that I wish the next episode of the series, so this is 58, so I wish 59 was right before. Because we're going to talk about such things, so keep this in mind when you watch the next episode, if you do. And then you'll see, so this idea that a Hokuto master practices the Nanto. Here's it's not really a take, but here's a thought of mine, let's say. I may be wrong, but let's say that I like to think that every Hokuto master in Hokuto no Ken is also a Nanto master. I'm going to develop this very quickly. It's not a take, it's actually fantasy, so it doesn't really matter. But you'll see in the next video that, as you know, if you watch the whole anime, that Hokuto masters may also, definitely also practice the Nanto. But Ryuken may really be Shin's master, and so I like to think that every Hokuto master also practices maybe precisely one style of the Nanto, because, like, you can't just practice Nanto Seiken. That doesn't mean anything. It's like you have many schools of the Nanto, and Shin's school is actually the only school that is not mentioned in the anime, I believe. It's the style of the school of the eagle. I think I mentioned it in a video, because it pierces. So you always have this specific way of severing the body. And we talked about how it's a perfect counterpart to the Hokuto, right? Because it's from the outside to the... Hokuto Shinken is inside to outside, and Shin style is from the outside to the inside. So it's not just severing the body, it's also a good counterpart to the Hokuto, let's say. And so, here's the thing. Imagine in real life, when you learn you may learn a fighting discipline, right? It's maybe not traditional. Typically, you have the philosophy that goes with it and so on. But you just learn to fight. So that's body. But then you may learn a traditional martial art. So you have all the philosophy, the spirituality, the discipline, right? but you also learn how to fight. So that's the thing. If you learn a spiritual thing, you also learn the bodily thing. But if it's only about fighting, then you don't necessarily learn the spiritual thing. So the Nanto masters, they don't know about the Hokuto Shinken, but it wouldn't surprise me that every Hokuto master is the master of one Nanto style. I leave it at this for this video. I don't want it to be too long, as they tend to be. But so we'll develop this a bit in the next video. But it's not necessarily a contradiction, and there may be some nice things to say about this. The fact that Ryuken, when you think about it, is also Shin's master.